I'm James McClafferty. I played in Slaughter of Saints and KAOS. Remember, those are the big ones at Miramichi, New Brunswick. Yeah, so it was sort of based out of Fredericton too, because Rob from KAOS was based out of Fredericton. And that would have been around 2000, 1999 to 2001 era is where I got into the scene. Growing up in Miramichi, well, as you probably know, especially there's a lot of the bands too have members that were from Miramichi. Strangely enough, like Black Frost came out of Miramichi, and then those guys all ended up playing in a bunch of other bands. And same thing is like Gord from Slaughter of Saints also played with a bunch of those guys, Black Frost and Dead for Days. It's a small town. I mean, it's like 15,000 people, give or take, and I guess maybe just not a whole lot to do, so everybody just started playing guitar and drums and playing in a bunch of metal bands. I got into metal when I was pretty young. Got introduced by my uncle, Sean, who later ended up actually getting me into KAOS, the band, because he used to play bass for them as well. And he got me into more like rock and stuff, like White Zombie and the Headstones and these other like rock bands and Green Day back in like the 90s. And then I started, listening to like Metallica and Megadeth and AC/DC and stuff. And then it kind of went from there. But yeah, originally Sean kind of got me all into that stuff, and then also got me into the metal scene later on. I started playing guitar maybe when I was like 11 or 12, and there was a guitar kicking around the house that used to belong to Sean too. And my mother said, learn a song on it, and then it's yours. So I learned the riff from One by Metallica, and she said, that's not enough. So I learned the entire song of La Bamba, and then that was the first full song I ever learned. So I still remember how to play it too, but I don't. It wasn't that long. It was like a couple years later that I ended up learning pretty fast because I played a lot on my own, and then I ended up trying out for KAOS, and then they were like, no, you can't play, you suck, basically. And then I came back again and played again, and somehow kind of had a big leap in guitar playing or something, and then they were like, yeah, you're in. I was like 15. KAOS became Slaughter of Saints pretty quickly. So when I joined the band, there was a guy, Brad Wells, used to play in KAOS, and he ended up later rejoining it when it was Slaughter of Saints. But when he had left the band, so they wanted another second guitar player, and then they brought me in to play, and it was KAOS for like a few months while I was in the band. I never even played a show with them as KAOS. And then Rob left the band and then later formed Obsidian Rain with Dan Rogers and those guys. But at that same time, we kept going under the new name Slaughter of Saints, and then I started writing all the music instead of Rob. That's kind of how that happened.
Okay, for people who don't know KAOS or Slaughter of Saints, can you describe KAOS's sound, their style, compared to Slaughter of Saints? Because there's a big difference in these two bands.
Yeah, it was, yeah, because back in KAOS was sort of like, it was like thrash metal, and then like, covering a lot of stuff like even like Misfits and Metallica and stuff. When it transformed into Slaughter of Saints, it was like a black death metal. We're known as like one of the fastest bands, I guess, because we played super fast. And we did like Carcass and Arch Enemy covers and stuff, like older Arch Enemy stuff. So that was a little different. I remember covering, even back in the KAOS days, we even covered like My Dying Bride. Like it was there was a whole period of time for KAOS to do like huge 3-hour nights, so they would cover like everything. So there was always some weird covers. We tried not to do that so much as Slaughter of Saints, try to make it more sense. Heartwork was the big cover that I thought was really funny because we covered it for years, and then we tried to take it out of the set list, and then people got mad at us, and they were like, no, you got to play Heartwork, nobody else is playing it. So then we weren't allowed to take it out of our set list.